Hey fellas, Rusty here. Hey, today we're taking a look at a pretty special knife. This particular knife comes to us from Cripple Cutlery, and it was a commemorative type knife, a collector. Knife World was a magazine, I think, might have turned into Blade magazine. And back in 1982, a guy named Bob Cargill, well, in 81 he started Cripple Creek Knives. So we're going to talk about Bob, we're going to talk about this knife and all that good stuff. But you can see 1982 Knife World. This particular knife is a mini trapper. It's kind of a tomahawk, it's kind of a humpback, it's kind of a teardrop. So it goes by a lot of different names. But some of the important things is that it's supposed to be all handmade by Bob Cargill. All right, Rusty, you keep talking about this Bob Cargill. We'll just call him Bob. Well, Bob, who is he? Well, Bob worked for Case Knives. And he was their repair guy. And so he was their lead repair guy. Kind of got a reputation that way. And so if you could imagine the 70s, Case, I mean, they were selling a lot of knives. He did a lot of work. He would have done everything from removing the covers, taking the knife apart, replacing the springs, fixing blade centering, whatever it was that the person turned their knife in for. And in this case, he made 2,000. There's 2,000 of these, and each one is numbered on the spade blade. And we'll show you those. Mine is number 1875. Hopefully you can see that. So he supposedly would have cut and jigged and dyed the bone. I'm not sure about the shield, but made the springs and ground the blade and all that. Now in my example, I paid just north of $100 for this. I think it's in good condition, not great. This side of the bone I really like. I don't know if it's a honey, I don't know, it's just a blonde bone. It's got a little bit darker where the jigging is. And this side, it's not quite the same. It doesn't have this light brown through here, and it almost looks like the bone degraded, but I think it's okay. It just not dyed. I don't know what happened there. The shield is insert really nicely. It's a pro. If you take a look at the build on this, yeah, that's very good. Very, very good. Nothing proud. This spring needs to be a little heavier. When they do this humpback, they can actually put a little bigger spring in right here. There's room because the blades will, come down to here. They make room, and you can make a little bit stronger spring. We got match strike nail nicks. We got half stops. Beautiful half stops. It's a wonderful action. Okay, the blade, we kind of got into that, seems to be kind of engraved. Okay, in other words, you can feel it pretty good. Very fancy, very celebratory. We have this top swedge. Again, that would have been done by hand. We have that top swedge. I understand Bob liked to work with 440C for steel, but I don't know for sure what the steel is on this knife. We'll try to get this. I'm not a fan of blade etches, anything on the blade, but this is okay. Let's watch the action here. Okay, very good snap. It's not too tough. not too weak, also very snappy here. See, you guys, it's hard sometimes to describe. Just hold on. We're getting a little action. We've had ambulances, we've had airplanes fly over, but okay, top swedge on this Beyblade. I'll get a what will I get? Comparison knife here for you. But this is smooth. This is GEC smooth. I think that's just about perfect. Okay, we'll open this one up. Also, I mean, if I didn't mention it before, we got these fancy kind of, I don't know what you would call these. They're the kind of a pointed, you know, a teardrop style. So I'd say those are nickel silver. I don't know if this is a pewter shield. So anyway, we'll put that down for just a second. And let's do a comparison with just a normal case mini trapper. This is one that, I don't remember the year. I dyed the colors on this, but here's an example of the bone. Let's get them example. Let's get a kind of a size comparison. So I know the case mini trapper is 3.5. And get you a width comparison, about the same width. We'll get you a blade comparison. So this is just kind of a stamped blade, and this would have spent time on a wheel. Oh, take a peek. Comparison there. You can see here this case has a little gap right there. Lighter action, feels like a lighter blade. Okay, good action, and you can kind of see this cant down. It's kind of good. Half stops on both of these. And we're back. The cutting edge to cutting edge. This one's a little shorter. Does have the same blades as. Now I picked on case for having a little gap. Might be a little one there. Okay. Look at the blade stock. Pretty equivalent between those two. Got out a, so this would be perhaps just in between this knife is in between these two sizes, the mini trapper, the case mini trapper, and the case Coke bottle. So we'll take a peek at how they both do. Here, and this case can run you. I've seen them for $100. They're now discontinued, but they were a $75 knife, brand new. I don't have any idea what these sold for, but they're out there for $190 to $100. Oh, what else do we got here? Oh, I wanted to. Someday I want to do a story about Bob Cargill. I want to do a story about Bill Howard. But I'm going to bring it up in this video. This knife is a Queen-made knife from 1988. So we have 1982 and we have 1988. Now, why are we bringing out this knife, Rusty? Well, first of all, this pattern is very unique. I don't know, Bob would have partnered with Frost, and he made some single-bladed knives in Japan called the Tomahawk. So it's a Frost knife, but it's a Bob Cargill. He even has a, what do you want to call it? a bolster lock knife. So you can look for Bob Cargill knives, you can look for Cripple Crick knives. Well, why are we bringing a queen knife in? Well, that's because Bob started this company, Cripple Crick. By the way, it's Cripple Crick because he lost his leg below the knee and had his leg amputated after a car accident. And so he named the company Cripple Creek. And he ran the company, I don't know, maybe up until the late 80s, the early 90s. Remember, this is 1988 on this knife. Well, somewhere in the mid 80s, a gentleman named Bob Howard became the master cutler at Queen Knives, and he really turned things around for them. And these were some of the first knives. This is sort of led Queen into becoming a premier knife maker. Queen had made knives a long time and they had made good knives, but these started breaking in. These Winchester black box is where they really started to impress with quality, and they started getting more orders. And through the 90s, they were kind of the knife company you went to if you wanted to contract a company and get a quality knife. Okay, all right, Rusty, cool. Why are you telling us? Well, I'm kind of comparing the springs here. Somewhere along the lines, that gentleman we talk about, Bill Howard, worked for Queen, bought the rights to Cripple Crick. So he bought the rights to make Cripple Crick knives, or Creek, however you want to say them. Okay, so what'd he do? Well, he didn't do anything with them. So I don't think we're going to see a lot in the mid-90s, the 2000s. And in 2006, you may or may not know, Bill Howard started his own company. That company is GEC. And with that, he started releasing some Cripple Creek knives again. One of the ones most recent in my memory is called the Engineer, a knife that I didn't get. It's a opposite end. It has, I think a spade blade on one side and a clip point on the other. I'm just bringing this out because GEC sort of leads the way today in the old-fashioned art of making these by hand as much as you can. So this knife, they got back the old tooling, they got the equipment that was used to make original Winchesters, they pinned the shield, they put these hammered these pins in here. Just extraordinary amount of handwork in there. And I want to recognize Bob on this, just for the work that he did. I'm sure if you're a single guy, you get a contract, an order for 2,000 knives, and you're working a regular job as a case repairman, you don't have the money to invest in the equipment needed to do an automated process to make a knife. You got to do a lot of handwork. So shout out to Bob. He did a great job on these. I'm happy with mine. Beautiful action. Unfortunately, I see it more as a collector's piece. 2,000 were made. Very rare pattern. So it's just a nice addition to the collection, where, you know, some of these, I'm using a Winchester knife, different things like that. But I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys if you're still with me. Have a great day.